is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I yield myself as much time as I may consume.
The gentlewoman is recognized.
There are two paths before us today. One, if this bill passes, another, if it fails. If we take the first path, if the bill passes, here is what will happen. The Departments of Defense, Labor, Health and Human Services and Education, State, Treasury, Transportation, and Housing and Urban Development will be fully funded through the end of September. The Democratic wins we secured in this bill will be locked in. We will reject $163 billion in cuts to public services proposed by President Trump. We will increase funding for the National Institutes of Health Biomedical Research by $415 million, and we will provide over $66 billion for rental assistance programs. We turned back in the labor HHS bill 47 programs that the administration had slotted for elimination. In the housing, transportation and housing urban development, 24 programs were slotted for elimination. We reversed that. We will increase funding for child care and Head Start by $170 million, secure an additional $5.5 billion for humanitarian assistance, and boost funding for federal public defenders by $315 million. We will establish meaningful constraints on the Trump administration's ability to abuse the budget process, take expansive power over federal funding, federal spending away from Rust's vote, and reclaim it for the Congress. If not, the President and Rust's vote will be in charge of the funds, and we will have no say. At the same time, funding for the Department of Homeland Security will continue at its current level for 10 days. And my friends, it's important to note that it is about 6 legislative days. If we do not pass another bill by next Friday, the department will shut down. Having passed the other full-year funding bills today, every other department would remain open. If we are not satisfied with where we are in those 10 days, 6 legislative days, we can withhold our votes without jeopardizing all of the important Democratic priorities I just laid out and more. We will be in the strongest possible position to fight for and win the drastic changes we all know are needed to protect our communities. Judicial warrant requirements, no more detentions or deportations of United States citizens, an enforceable code of conduct, taking off the masks, putting the badges on, requiring the body cameras, real accountability for the egregious abuses we have seen. If we choose the second path, however, if this bill does not pass, none of that happens. Instead, we enter a prolonged government shutdown. Workers across broad swaths of the federal government would be furloughed, public services would be scaled back, paychecks would be missed. My Republican colleagues will only talk about those not getting paychecks, and you can hear it already. Instead of my Republican colleagues having to defend the Department of Homeland Security with what is happening across the country, lawless, reckless, out-of-control agencies marauding over our cities and towns and striking people where they work and where they live. Instead of increasing funding for the National Institutes of Health, new research grants would be frozen, interrupting efforts to treat and prevent deadly diseases. Instead of providing funding for rental assistance, payments would be delayed, and families would face the prospect of eviction. Instead of increasing funding for Head Start, Health and Human Services would be unable to issue new grants, jeopardizing access to early education for countless children across this country. Instead of reclaiming Congress's power of the purse, we would concede even more discretion to Rust vote and the White House to abuse the budget process for their own partisan gain, which they would certainly exploit, as we have seen. And in 10 days, 6 legislative days, we would be in the same place with regard to Homeland Security that we would have been had the bill passed, except we will have lost all of the Democratic priorities I have laid out. I have no illusions about ICE and for CBP. We must rein in these rogue agencies. We need to protect our communities. We need to protect the people and the children in our communities. We must have accountability for the egregious abuses we have seen. And it's understandable the rage and the fear and the outrageousness of what these activities have been all over this country. The only way we can get these things is to fight for and win them and let the public know what we are fighting for. Passing these 5 full-year funding bills today puts us in the best position to win that fight over the next 10 days, the 6 legislative days, and beyond, if need be. I strongly encourage my colleagues to support this bill today and continue to fight to protect our communities in the coming weeks. Thank you, and I reserve the balance of my time.